summarizes my day, my life, who I am. Uh, yeah. But anyway, good afternoon. My name is Ken Tracy, and today's little live show is a show I think I'm going to title Feeling, Being Afraid or Feeling Fear, but Moving Forward Anyway. And this topic is important to me, and it's one fear is something I'm learning to deal with and live a life with and learn to be okay with and accepting as part of who I am and a challenge that I deal with uh, really on a daily basis all my life. And it might just be me, but it's possible there's other people out there that struggle with fear. And you can call fear worry, anxiety, stress, fear, terror at times. You can name it a bunch of different things, but it's generally not a good feeling. It causes us to wake up in the middle of the night. It causes us to fret, to worry. If left unchecked, it can lead to depression, relationship issues, because it's just not a great feeling when you're afraid all the time. And I've lived it. I've woken up in the middle of the night and felt afraid most of my life, honestly. And this morning, I woke up, as I often do, and I'm relocating from Wisconsin to Illinois. I had a couple interviews, or at least I wanted them to be interviews yesterday. I walked into a couple restaurants, honestly, and they didn't go well. I didn't get past the gatekeeper and get in front of the hiring manager at a couple different restaurants I went into yesterday, and I was bummed about that. And I was afraid about my relocation and my opportunities here in Illinois and my financial future and my future with my family. And if you've had it, if you've dealt with it, you know, once your mind starts going, it's hard to get it to stop going. And problems that aren't that big of a deal, maybe during the day when you're moving, when you're sending out resumes, when you're interviewing, when you're working, when you're exercising, when your mind is occupied with action, uh, those fears aren't that big of a deal. But at night or early in the morning when you wake up and your first thought is, crap, how am I going to pay the bills? When am I going to see my kids? Is this interview going to go well? Are they going to like me? And again, your mind starts racing, and that's a bad place to be. My point is, I often talk about my own fear here, and it's not because I'm necessarily looking for coaching or advice, and maybe that's why I'm pretty sensitive when people tell me what I should do. And I might say, hey, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent next month, and I'll get 100 people that'll throw out suggestions to me. I joke with my new friend ChatGPT, because sometimes I'll go, holy crap, I'm panicking. And then it'll give me so much advice, and I'll go, man, I just wanted to get it off my chest that I'm afraid right now or that I'm scared right now. And I wanted to acknowledge the fear. And I think as men, we are told to bury a lot of our emotions, our feelings, be strong, always be the rock. And I know for me, that doesn't always come natural. Sometimes I am afraid. Sometimes I do panic. And sometimes I am worried and feel I don't know what to do. But those feelings are usually are temporary and are short-lived. And one thing that I've learned to do is move forward in the face of fear. And I know this sounds like tooting my own horn, but I'm going to repeat it again. Bravery is not a life without fear. It's feeling afraid and moving forward anyway. And that's one thing I've gotten really, really good at doing. I woke up today. I didn't know what my schedule was going to be, if I was going to make it productive, if I was going to get a bunch of things done. But the first thing I did is I went to the gym. I knew I could control that. I couldn't guarantee I'd get a job offer or get a bunch of interviews or improve my financial situation. But I moved forward in a way I could control. I went to the gym. I had a good workout and felt great doing that. I did have an interview scheduled at 11 o'clock this morning. It was with a big hotel restaurant in the area. And the person I was going to meet with wasn't there. And I ended up meeting with a fairly important person at this hotel. And a little bit I was frustrated. A little bit I thought he wasn't, he was just filling a seat and somebody that, somebody to talk to. But as he probed deeper into our conversation, I started feeling better and better about this conversation. And he started talking about working in a restaurant as a bartender or a server and wondering if that's really what I wanted to do. And this guy's one of the top people at this hotel. And I'm going, I don't need to be serving tables. I don't need to be slinging beer. If you see me as in a more important full-time position, or you have a better fit or a better need for me, I am all ears and would love to hear your feedback as far as where you see me being a good fit. As I walk out of there, I got a email back from, I popped into a restaurant yesterday. They weren't hiring. I tell you what, you walk into businesses, restaurants, what have you, with your resume and say, hey, are you guys hiring? You're going to face a lot of rejection. You're going to deal with something I dealt with yesterday where you couldn't even get to the hiring manager, and you're just going to have to get used to it. But yesterday I walked in to a restaurant bar, actually just down the street over there, and the guy said he wasn't hiring, but he thought I had an awesome personality. I go, well, thank you. And we got to talking. I handed him my resume. He asked what I was looking for. I said, I don't know. I need a job, though. And he moved it along to a human resources person at his company. I didn't hold my breath. I think that's the key. Moving forward, you don't hold your breath about the stuff you did yesterday. You just keep looking for new opportunities and let God water the seed and let the plant grow when it's ready. And I had a person from his HR from his company reach out to me today. And she asked when I'd be available. I go, how about this afternoon? Let's do it now. And met with her, had a great meeting with her for about an hour. And I think there's a ton of real possibilities there. And some of the things I've done over the last few days are starting to blossom a little bit. Nothing concrete, but my point is I am scared out of my mind every morning and almost every night when I go to sleep. The dark thoughts are racing, but you can't let those dark thoughts win, and you have to keep moving forward in the face of fear. And sometimes you don't know what that's looks like or what your next step is. If you can't decide what your next step is, take a smaller step. Get up out of bed, make yourself some coffee, go brush your teeth, go to the gym, and keep moving forward and don't stop no matter how afraid you are. And that's what I focus on every day. Again, I focus on it every day, and I got to remind myself to do it every day, because no matter how good today was, I'll probably still wake up with worries and fears, because I'm getting used to that. But I also will keep moving forward tomorrow, and I won't stop, and I won't let that fear or that worry or that anxiety win. because as long as you're moving forward, you're going to get where you need to go. So I want to thank you so much for joining today. And I would encourage you, if you're one that struggles with anxiety or fear or worry, say it. Don't keep it in. Say, I'm scared as hell. Holy crap, I'm panicking. And then you're going to get a bunch of people telling you what you should do. And just kind of look at them and go. And if you're like me and somebody tells you what you should do, put them in timeout for a minute, kind of as a warning. Because you're not asking for advice. You're just needing to get it off your chest and be open and honest with your feelings. And once you do that, I think, I know it frees me up to move forward in a positive direction. I don't know if you heard that. There was a big loud noise behind me. It scared the poop out of me. But I'll tell you what, no matter how scared I am, I'm going to keep moving forward. And I want to thank you so much for joining this afternoon. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope in some way, in any area of your life, when you put your head on the pillow, you can feel good or pat yourself on the proverbial back that you moved something forward today, even in some small way, and hang your hat on that and feel good about that as you rest your head on your pillow tonight and you go to sleep. And if you do wake up afraid, either in the morning or during the night, go, hey, I've been here before. I'm not going to let this fear or this anxiety or this worry beat me. I'm going to keep moving forward in some area of my life that matters tomorrow. If I don't know what step to take, I'm going to take a really small one, and I'm not going to stop for anything. So I want to thank you so much for joining. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope your week's going well. I hope you are loving yourself. I hope you are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.